game if they beat Georgia?
No, they got 2 losses. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they have the head-to-head against Georgia.
Now you're making me confused.
But so Georgia would still, I think, go to Atlanta for the SEC championship.
Yes.
But then what do you do if, Tennessee had beaten them? Like,
right now my eyes. This one can't process all
chaos.
this.
We want chaos.
We're going to get chaos too, but that's. Tennessee rolled over UConn this weekend, and looked good in the process of doing that. What's Jim Moore? I thought he was turning that program around. They looked terrible.
They were not good
on Saturday. So, but I tell you what, Ole Miss Georgia. That's a heck of a game this weekend down in Athens, and don't take out Lane Kiffin and what he's got going on. But I think Georgia beats Ole Miss. But I think Jimbo's done now at 5-4. Tough loss for them down in.
He's going to get fired.
Yeah, 5-4.
He's going to get fired.
They'll pay him off, and you're 5-4, and you're showing nowhere that you can compete across the board against the SEC West. I know they took Ole Miss to the wire. I understand all that, but he's not done what he's supposed to do over there. So that's going to happen. So see you, Jimbo.
Yep.
Take your money and run off.
Interesting to see what they do. And now look, he'll get another opportunity somewhere. They all do. Maybe he does TV for a year. But he'll find something else.
Hey, does your camera have does it add like 20 pounds? Because this picture of me, I look like I'm waiting at Golden Corral to eat. This is awful.
Dude.
I got to tack my microphone. I got a picture. It makes me look like I weigh 460 pounds. It's not a good day for the JoJo.
Hey, it's going to turn around.
Just the wrong angle, Joe. It's the wrong angle.
It's at the wrong angle? It's terrible.
Ain't nothing bringing us down.
No, nothing at all.
So it was a fun weekend of college football. The NFL was interesting too. How about this? Josh, and this is not twice that he's, basically done this, except they won, but Josh Dobbs gets traded to the Minnesota Vikings on like Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the building for 4 days basically. Has to come off the bench yesterday and beats the Falcons.
What a
31-28.
What a
great game.
Yeah, he took no snaps, right? Is that
right.
What we've been told? No snaps. Didn't even know half the players' names. It makes you wonder if Josh Dobbs had stayed in a system and been developed, how good he could have been. It was. Butch wanted.
I saw your tweet. That was a good tweet.
Thank you, buddy. Butch wanted to redshirt him in 13 at UT, couldn't do it, and just had to put him in the game. And Dobbs saved a lot of games for Butch in 14, 15, and 16. And then he went. But, good for him. Is there probably not a nicer guy, more well-deserved what's going on right now than Josh Dobbs? And that was fantastic.
I saw a tweet last night from Terry McCormick that I made a note of because I'm like, you know what? I agree with that. The Titans should sign Josh Dobbs to be Will Levis's backup. I agree with it. I think they should. Next year.
No, Dobbs is going to be a starter somewhere.
I don't think he's an everyday starter in this league. I think
Let me write that down and send it to him.
I think he's exactly what he's being.
Dear Josh, Chase is a hater. Okay.
Hater's going to hate.
That's right. Okay, yeah. But I think he's going to try to get a starting quarterback job somewhere and go from there. But
a team could look at him as a stopgap and,
he could do another 5, 6, 7 years in the league and get paid millions and do that and save a team's butt all the time. It's just a great story. And I watched that final drive against the Falcons, and he was dead on. They couldn't stop him. It was amazing the way he improvised, got the ball down the field and scored. And, the look at Arthur Smith, they showed Arthur Smith's face after Josh Dobbs for that touchdown, and that look of disgust, hate, just everything in his face, like they were losing. Was everything. So good for Josh Dobbs, man.
Let's thank Alan from Little Rock for clearing this up for us. Path for UT winning the East. They have to win out, so they got to beat Mizzou, Georgia, Vandy.
Okay.
All right. Ole Miss has to beat Georgia this weekend. If Ole Miss beats Georgia this weekend and Tennessee beats Georgia, then Tennessee goes to the championship game because they win the tiebreaker.
Perfect. So
that's what has to happen.
Thank you, Alan, for making it very simple for us that I couldn't figure it out in 2 days. Nice.
But here's the thing: if Ole Miss does beat Georgia, where is that game? Is that in Athens?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
It's possible, but I don't see it. But if that were to happen, then if I'm UT, I'd be like, because you're gonna have a pissed off Georgia than coming to Knoxville.
Well, you're coming to Knoxville, and that's the good thing about that. So the game's at home there. But, Tennessee's got to take care of Missouri first. If they lose to Missouri, then you're like, but I just think, the Georgia game coming into Knoxville next weekend is going to be so huge for this season and so huge for a lot of things to knock off the number one team in the country if Georgia beats Ole Miss. There's a lot at stake and a lot to play for to be exciting.
Caleb says Dobbs is a starter, period. Stop downplaying what he's doing. I'm not downplaying what he's doing.
Caleb.
I don't think he's a
you think
17-game starter.
You think he wants to come here? Why would you want to
come
here?
I don't know. I mean, look, if he's got an opportunity to start, then absolutely, go do it.
Yeah, right.
But and maybe it's Minnesota. Maybe Minnesota decides, hey, because Minnesota's in an interesting position now. Like, they're 5-4. Like, they're very much in contention.
Yep.
Now I think Detroit's going to win that division, but they're in a wild card spot, and so then they have to decide. All right, well, if we make the playoffs, we don't have Cousins. Cousins does he have a year left on his deal? I think I need to look that up, but I think Cousins has a year left. But coming off an Achilles, maybe they decide to part ways with Cousins, and they could ride it out with Dobbs for a year, and then draft their guy.
Well, we saw Dobbs had a hot start in Arizona, and it flamed out very, very quickly. So I don't know. I mean, I think just what he did yesterday was fantastic, and just go bit by bit. But to give him a starting job next year is a little bit too much right now. See how he plays the rest of the season after the Vikings, because if he can lead them to the playoffs and the promised land, my goodness. I mean, why not keep him in Minnesota?
So I have some NFL thoughts coming up next. The Titans were off yesterday after they lost on Thursday, so I spent the day watching the rest of the league, and there is a team that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, and they should be. I think they should be scared of them.
I think this team, I don't want to say win the Super Bowl, but I think they are one of the top three teams. I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay. We'll discuss that next.
Houston Texans.
615-737-1025. It's Chase and Big Joe on a Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Whether it's college football,
players might end up not going to Alabama or Georgia,
or the NFL,
I think that this team wins the AFC South.
Trevor knows. Join ESPN's Trevor Maddich every Tuesday at 4:30 on Stillman and Company as he gives his opinions on the latest from the gridiron.
I'm going to the team where I can get a ring.
Trevor Maddich brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, where experience matters, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When the festive bells ring and everyone gathers round, make sure your home's ready for it. From flickering lights to chilly nights to busted pipes, Lee Company is here to help. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, or any fix-up you need, we've got the experts ready. Head over to LeeCompany.com. That's LeeCompany.com. Remember, Lee Company, all you need, so you can enjoy the holidays worry-free.
It's the Electronic Express Black Friday Savings Marathon. Every Sunday means hot new deals. Get the gifts you want and save up to 50% throughout the entire store. Get the Samsung 75-inch 4K TV, only $649, plus other hot deals. At Electronic Express, dream big, pay small with up to 36 months free financing on items like a Samsung French door refrigerator, only $13.99, or an Acer laptop, now only $199. Shop the Black Friday Savings Marathon at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit could get you $20, $50, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Willie Donick here. Listen up. You've got a ton of equity in your home, and Loan Pronto can help turn that equity into cash to put it to use. You can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards or pay off personal loans. Start the home improvement project you've been looking for. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact, so your 3% rate is protected. Call right now, 615-499-5780. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards. 615-499-5780 or go online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. New Pepto Kids gummies helps relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for new Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like Certainty Landmark Pro, right at my fingertips. And now through November, purchase Certainty with Beacon Pro Plus, web or app, and earn up to $750. Beacon, always building.
You're listening to the Chase and Big Joe Show, brought to you by Regal Realty Group.
Ooh, macadamia nuts.
If you'd like to buy some, they're only $1 each.
Oh, so that's your little plan. Get us addicted, then jack up the price.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Is it a Jock Jams day? Is that what this is?
Sorry. With the time change and people feeling a little, groggy today, let's get people fired up and get going today. That's what we need. We are your coffee. We are your caffeine show to get you fired up and attack this Monday because it gets dark at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because we still need to observe not have daylight saving time because of it's the 1800s apparently. So.
Yeah. You know what? We get questions on it. We had a question earlier. Let's put the question. I mean, thoughts on daylight, because there are people that I know that love it because they want it light in the morning.
Right.
They work out in the morning. They want it light, and I understand that. But it hurts.
I would rather have the daylight be longer.
Yes, right?
That's
so
me.
Do you like it, love it, hate it? 615-737-1025, because there are a couple of freaks out there that love daylight savings times, and I'm just curious why you love it besides having the light in the morning. I don't understand it. I mean, it was bad last night.
Yeah.
Do you get the Sunday scaries? You don't, do you?
No, I don't.
I used to. Because of you, I don't have them anymore, so thank you, Chase.
Well, I'm glad.
I don't have them. Thank you
glad
so
we
much.
Could help.
Yeah, well, you did in a massive way, so thank you.
I need you and Nick to talk for a second. I got to go fix something.
Yeah, okay, good.
So can you explain what the Sunday scaries are?
So we're going to get a little serious for a second, right?
Okay.
So more men pass away on Saturday and Sunday than any day of the week, according to studies, right? So a lot of that is because you eat bad on the weekends, you're stressed out, things go on in your life, and I didn't know about this until the guy from The Sopranos passed away, James Gandolfini. I was learning about this. He passed away on a Saturday. You eat terrible on the weekends. You eat terrible for a long time, and there's a lot of stress that goes on, so you get the Sunday scaries because it starts again tomorrow. You look for the weekend, but that Monday comes, it starts again, and there's a lot of men that go through the Sunday scaries, and it devastates them. And I'm not making light of it. I went through it. A lot of guys go through it. So to not have so my job, I tell people, look, don't have Sunday scaries, man. That's why I tell people at the end of the show, we love you. We're here for you. We got to do this together. And the Sunday scaries are a big part of this because a lot of men, unfortunately, take their lives on the weekends. I mean, and it's sad. And so I don't want to, I want these guys to know that we love them. No more Sunday scaries. It's okay to feel bad. and all that. So that's what the Sunday Scaries comes from. And it's, I laugh because I went through it and I came out good, but there's a lot of guys that don't do that. So we just want people to know that we love them, and that's what the Sunday Scaries is part about. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. That's my little TED Talk for the day. Thank you.
Well, I didn't know. When the Sopranos guy passed away, I was looking about this, and, it's just a lot of the stress affects a lot of men on the weekends, and it's awful, and I hate it. And so it's been a rough year for a lot of people that I know going through all that stuff, and that's why I'm very adamant about mental health and helping guys and all that go through that. So it's one of those things where you talk to people. If somebody's feeling down and blue, and you notice a change in their life that's going on, talk to them. Take time, call them. There's a friend of mine I call 15 times a day just because I don't think he's going through a lot of stuff, but I just let him know that I love him and I'm there for him and things that go on. So that's why we reach out to people and try to make things happen. So it's, again, as I tell everybody, we're all in this together, man. We're all walking the same way. We're heading the same destination. Let's just do it together. If you're down, pick somebody up. If you're down, maybe somebody picks you up, because plenty of guys have picked me up along the way. Does that make sense, man?
It does. It sure does. It clarifies a lot of questions that I had in the brain. Now they've all been answered. And, that's where I want to get to now is it's kind of getting happy. It's a Monday. We've looked forward to something, and now we're here, Big Joe.
Yeah, we're here. We got football going. There's a lot of things to look forward to. Titans go play the Buccaneers this weekend. So there's a lot of things that football is really a salvation along with the good Lord in a lot of ways in our lives because it's something to look forward to. That makes sense again? I know I'm up here rambling like I'm on the pulpit.
You're good. No, Sunday, we talk about Sunday Scaries, but Sunday football related, I was looking forward to a lot of games yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of those games was-incredible. Like you and Chase both talked about the Vikings, and obviously with Chase kind of you and Chase teasing something that a team that may have gotten interesting to you guys. Chase, what was that team that you might have got a little dicey because he's running around all over the place?
Yeah, we're back now.
Okay, well done, buddy.
We had to fix something. I know people were worried about us for a second.
The suit never rests. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
All right, what's the team now? Because I have a team that I think, but I might be different than yours.
They're from the AFC North.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think they're really good. Let's say it at the same time. See if we get
right,
1, 2, 3. Baltimore
Bengals.
Ravens.
Oh, okay. Baltimore Ravens. Why?
All right. Because I think that they're just sneaky right now. Like they're winning games and they're yesterday they dominated the Seahawks 37-3.
Oh, they destroyed them.
And I think the Seahawks are a pretty good team.
Yeah, they are.
They're sitting there at 5-3. The Ravens are 7-2. The Titans had every opportunity to beat them, but again,
that game was never in doubt. I never thought for a second the Titans would win that game.
Good teams know how to close,
right?
And I think that they figured out how to close. Now, to your point, I think the Bengals are pretty darn good too, and Joe Burrow is healthy now. And now that Joe Burrow is healthy and awake. By the way, did you hear Collinsworth and Tirico talking about that he goes to bed during the season at 8:00?
Yep. Yeah. I think it was 7:30.
Yeah, well, it was 7. He said this week it was 7 because he wasn't feeling well.
Oh my goodness! Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
But I like it. It's not like all year to do that. By the way, nobody throws a better football in the National Football League than Joe Burrow. I mean, some of those passes last night were perfect. I mean, just absolutely perfect. And if he's healthy and that defense for the Bengals can get it together, I mean, that AFC North always got a winning record. That's a dominating division. But I get what you said about the Ravens. Nobody talks about the Ravens. Nobody. You're right, Chase. Nobody talks about them. It's about the Eagles. It's about the Chiefs. The Niners have dropped a little bit like there, but the Ravens, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that the Ravens, the Bengals, the AFC's interesting to figure out right now because it's just I think it's kind of close. Now, we see that where you're going to have teams move away. Like, I'd be a little concerned about Miami because even though they're 6-3 and they're leading their division, they can't seem to find a way to beat the good teams.
Right.
They came close yesterday. They battled back against Kansas City and Germany. I thought they were going to come back and win that game, but they couldn't close. So Kansas City closed. Baltimore's at 7-2. The North is interesting because really any of those teams can win it right now. I mean, the Baltimore at 7-2 have they have a slight lead on Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, but they're all 5-3.
Right.
I don't think I trust Pittsburgh because I don't think Kenny Pickett's it. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm sure Junie will text in just a second. Are we ready to say Jacksonville's for real?
I don't know. What are they now? 6-2.
They've won 5 in a row.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, the AFC South is average at best, and
I'll ask you the question that our good friend Ricky asked me last night. Do you think that?
What are you doing for dinner?
Yes. Do you think that Houston could be Jacksonville of last year?
Oh yeah.
Come on late. Nobody thinks
they're looking
that they're
pretty
there.
good. That was a great win for them yesterday.
He had over 450 yards.
He had more yards passing than like 10 Hall of Fame quarterbacks ever had in their career.
470, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, by the way.
Yeah.
Crazy thing about this, they had no kicker. So he had a 2-point conversion on his tab.
How about the running back? They had a running back kick a field goal.
What?
Yeah, the kicker got hurt.
How does a kicker get hurt?
I don't know. The kicker got hurt, and they had a running back kicking field goal.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Made a field goal, by the way.
He made the go-ahead field goal, and then Tampa came back and took the lead on a touchdown, and then Stroud let him down to win.
Was it old school, like super toe straight on?
Kind of. It was like the half toe, half top foot.
I got to find that. I had no idea.
We've heard from Junie. Kenny isn't it, but look at the Steelers' schedule and tell me they aren't winning 10 games.
I mean, it depends.
They could. I mean, but that division's tough.
It is very tough.
Especially now that Cincinnati has won 4 in a row since they got beat here.
Yeah, then you go down and look at the pretty sad NFC South. I mean, it's just the Saints are leading at 5-4, and they're not a very good football team. And Falcons blew a good opportunity yesterday. The Bucs aren't that good. The Titans need to take advantage of the Buccaneers on Sunday and go down there and just pound them and beat them around and come back with the win.
In the NFC, Philly's for real. Dallas had every opportunity to win that game. The refs wanted them to win that game. They had every opportunity to win that game, and they didn't do it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, you had the 2-point conversion where Dak steps out, which that was a complete game changer. You had the touchdown that's called back because of the penalty. You had the touchdown that's called back because he was half a yard short when they went for it on 4th and goal.
Right.
That he should have gotten in. And then you had a couple of calls that even I, as a Cowboys fan, were like, I don't know about that. I mean, I even texted like my group and go like, well, refs have the Cowboys.
Right. Oh, what group is that? I didn't get that text.
Yeah, sorry, it was a different group. I'm in other groups. I have other friends.
All right, well, that's put that down. Talk to my therapist about that today.
What about the illegal hands in the face late in the game? They brought the flag back. I was like, wait a minute, that was a deliberate call.
I think that one should have stood, but and that would have changed things. I mean, that would have put them in a great position to score. But so I don't know. You got the Saints leading the NFC South, which is terrible.
Let me go back to the Eagles. Does it still burn when A.J. Brown does something? And I'm not the biggest Titans fan in the world, but it still stings a little bit when he does something.
I don't care. It doesn't to me. It's like
I don't know. For some reason, it does.
Because here's the thing: it wasn't his fault. They made the decision to get rid of him. They didn't want to deal with paying him. They didn't want to deal with the tweets and him being boisterous about it, and they didn't want to deal with it. So they moved on.
Say that again. It wasn't his fault. It's like a scene from Good Will Hunting.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Right. It's not your
So
fault.
you can't get mad at him for being good at what he does for another team.
I don't think I'm mad at him. I just think it stings a little bit because he should have never been traded.
I agree. But
should have never been
the
traded.
Titans made the decision to trade him.
I think
Not just one person either.
Well, I think the big boss made
I
that.
think you're right. And people don't want to always recognize that.
Right.
But I think that somebody was told what to do, and they did it, and then they got fired for it.
Yep.
So, nonetheless, we move on. We'll talk to Brett Kern, former Titans punter. He's coming up next. Chasing Big Joe on a Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
One is a legendary NFL wide receiver.
I gotta be prepared. I have to be ready.
One is a legendary Nashville voice.
You don't have to rely on carrying the ball 250 to 300 times.
And the other has been a legendary trash talker on the playground since the 4th grade.
Nobody is a Pro Bowler on day one of rookie minicamp.
They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Yo, check this out.
Ah, Porvu. Imagine a wonderland, vast as the eye can see. We're talking a whopping 10,000 square feet, stocked with wine, spirits, and over 1,500 beers from around the globe. And if that's not enough, they've got you covered with a massive horde of ready-to-guzzle cocktails like High Noon.
Well, saddle up, partner. It's Porvu, the adult equivalent of a candy store. Open from 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and from 10 to 6 on Sundays, too. Not leaving your sofa during the next big game? No worries, my jersey-wearing couch potato. You can place your orders at porvu.us or download their super snazzy app.
Just picture hockey night. He shoots, he scores, we toast.
We're talking about a good old round of tequila shots, of course.
Tequila!
Porvu has it all. Tequila is always a big hit, just like Uncle Frank at the family parties.
Wine, spirits, beers, mixers, barware, gifts, party supplies, and more.
Curbside pickup at absolutely zero charge, mind you, and home delivery.
Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville, just off Vietnam Vets, exit 7.
Porvu. It's all Frenchy and fancy, meaning for you.
Score!
At Mercedes-Benz of Music City, a healthy and productive culture takes a day-to-day discipline. Here's Sam Cavett, General Manager, with a few thoughts.
Mercedes-Benz has its standard, and we have Dream Motor Group standards. They're definitely on the same level, but I feel like we challenge ourselves at least as much as Mercedes-Benz challenges us. It's a genuine motivation to take care of customers, and we see it in the customer reviews.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is coming November 17th through 19th. It's an extraordinary event with savings of 20, 30, up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets. Nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day store-wide sale. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Lab-grown diamonds, too. Discounts up to 35%. Genesis Diamonds, November 17th through 19th only, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Green Day present the Saviors Tour. Live in Nashville.
Welcome to
Geodis Park, Friday, August 30th. Celebrating 30 years of Dookie and 20 years of American Idiot. Green Day with the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. Pre-sale for City Card members begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. at LiveNation.com. Green Day, the Saviors Tour, fueled by Monster Energy.
Calling all sweet tooths. Head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift giving easy.
I'm sorry, excuse me 1 second. Hello?
Hey, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, gee, I can't talk right now. Why don't you give me your home number and I'll call you later?
615-737-1025.
Oh, I guess you don't want people calling you at home.
Sponsored by Wilson County Hyundai.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. I feel like this is the old Predators power play song. It was. Preds are on the power play. They were this weekend. Scored a couple of goals on the peeper. Got the big win.
When's the next game?
Tomorrow against Calgary.
Calgary, all right.
Yeah, got the big win over Edmonton, so we'll discuss that. Let's say hello to Brett Kern, former Titans punter, who is on the line with us. Brett, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
We're doing fantastic. And, this, I guess the mini bye, is that what you refer to it as when you play on a Thursday night and then you have the weekend off? Is that something that you always enjoyed, even though I think most players couldn't stand playing on Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, I think leading up to the Thursday night game was pretty tough. But then once you got out there, obviously, it's a football game. And then, you get the mini, in their case, obviously traveling back from Pittsburgh, they probably got back 2-3 in the morning. So Friday's kind of a blur. But you get Saturday, Sunday off, which is great. And then they'll probably come in today, a little bit later on. So when I was playing, I wish that the bye and the mini bye were kind of farther apart. So they got these kind of back to back. And so now it's the home stretch, November and December football.
So I know you watched Thursday night, and we all did, and Titans had an opportunity to win that game, and unfortunately just came up a bit short. But For me, it's looking at more big picture now. And I watch Will Levis, and I've watched him the last 2 games, and I feel like they do have their guy. Now, is he going to have, his rookie moments? Of course he is. That's part of it. But I feel like that's where their attention needs to go, and then looking at fixing that offensive line and getting him some weapons. When you watch Will Levis, what have you seen through 2 games?
When he's back there, he's very poised. And I think we were texting Thursday night. Some of the throws that he can make with the touch, for somebody to kind of have a rocket arm like that and then to be able to make some of those throws is pretty special. And, some of those throws came off his back foot, which probably isn't what you teach technically. But, when you're getting a pass rush like that, like what Pittsburgh was bringing, Blitzburg, whatever you want to call them, that's tough. And so in most cases, you just have to get that ball off to whoever, maybe your check down or shorter routes, because you don't have time to throw it deep. And so there were a couple throws he made off his back foot, and they were pinpoint. I'm sure he probably wish he could have some throws back, as all quarterbacks do in a game. But overall through 2 games, he's looked really good. Like I said, he's looked poised. When he goes out there, it looks like he knows what he's doing. I know in Kentucky, with some of the coordinators that he had, he was able to check at the line and make checks that he wants to. And so I'm sure that, Coach Kelly is probably giving him the option to do that in some cases. And so really just trying to give him full command of the offense. But he looks good. I think it's just a matter of, what can he do in these last games that he's playing for the rest of the season potentially. And then obviously can he stay healthy? Can he stay upright?
Talking to former Titans punter Brett Kern. Brett, let's talk about somebody on this team that doesn't get talked about nearly enough and should. Nick Folk. He's perfect on field goals. He's perfect on extra points halfway through the season. I don't think I've ever seen a kicker this accurate for the Titans so far through the season. He's even 3 for 3 plus 50. Talk about, Brett, about Nick and what he's brought to this football team.
Yeah, that's somebody, probably between him and Stonehouse, the way Stonehouse has been punting, flipping field position, pinning teams back has been great to see. And then obviously with Nick, that's what you want in somebody, that's a veteran like that. That guy, he hasn't missed. He hasn't. I don't know where you can critique him if you can, but for him to come out there and to hit every ball that he's hit, extra point, field goals, deep, short, big kicks. He's a veteran. That's what he does. And he's playing great. And so obviously you keep that rolling. I think when you're kicking or punting, you wanted to really take advantage of some of the better weather as you started the season, to kind of get your stats up, because you knew as the year went on, potentially what was going to come down the pipe weather-wise. And so, he is watching him kick, the ball just does not move off his target. Maybe a little bit of a baby draw, rarely hits a cut. And so he looks really, really smooth right now.
My friend Dale wants me to ask you, when did you know that Ryan Stonehouse was as good as advertised?
Probably, last year when we were in May, when we reported. We reported in April, but the first time we actually punted was in May. And he went out there and just had a session on his own. And I thought, this is not good for me. His leg is it's probably honestly the best in the league as far as strength and power and what he can do. And so now, the first year, obviously you're kind of getting through just being a rookie. A lot of times you're just trying to keep your head above water. The season's a lot longer than college. And so, but now that he's in his second year, I know I've talked with him and chatted with him about directional punting and some of the things that he can work on with that. And to see some of those elements, he had that punt at Pittsburgh, which is not an easy place to punt. The grass stinks. Usually there's a little bit of wind. It's not great. And so he to go out there and hit that punt that he did, right on the sidelines was great. And so he's doing well. Special teams is playing well, and that's good to see.
Not to belabor a point here, Brett, but is it easier mentally to lose your job to a guy that that's, and I hate to, is a little bit better than you are, instead of like somebody like, I'm better than this guy, but knowing that he's a little bit better than you? Does that help? Does that question make sense? You don't have to answer it off if you don't want to.
No, yeah, 100%. I knew when we were competing, we were two different punters, right? He was a guy that could go out there and just smoke a ball, but not a lot of direction. And then I was the guy that wasn't going to smoke the ball, but, if you put the trash can 45 yards from the sidelines, like I felt like I could, hit that. And so it's just two different types of styles of punting. And so I just wasn't sure what they were going to do, if they were going to, keep the direction, or obviously I didn't have a lot left in the tank, going into year 15. Wasn't like, I was going to play till I was, year 20. And so if this kid was the future with the talents and abilities that he has, I mean, yeah, they're going to make a switch. And that happens not just at my position, it happens at kicker. I mean, it's a part of the NFL. I mean, Vrabel talks about always, having competition and getting younger and cheaper. And that's just the reality of the NFL. And I'm just glad that, he's doing well and that he's holding on to the tradition of, Craig and myself and now Stoney.
We're talking to Brett Kern, former Titans punter, who's here with us. And I watched another one of your former teams yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I truly believe they might be the best team in the NFL right now. Obviously, AJ's having a great year. Kevin Byard is now with them, and I guess we're going to call him Titans Northeast with all the former Titans that go there. But how special is it to see those guys and a team that you spent some time with last year basically picking up where they left off?
Yeah, I think it was obviously a fun team to really be a part of, just because I felt like they could win. When I was there for the 5 games in the playoff run, I felt like the games that we won in a different way. One game, AJ took over. Another game, Devontae took over in Dallas with Gardner Minshew as the quarterback. It was Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell at the time that were running, and we didn't have to pass as much. And so they were winning in many different ways. The defense, the pass rush, those guys up front, it just felt endless. And so, I think we were talking about last week about the Titans, trying not to become one-dimensional and become predictable. Well, I think what makes Philly so hard is that they're never one-dimensional. They're never predictable. You have to cover AJ, Devontae, Dallas Goedert. Jalen can run when he needs to run. And there's just many ways that they can kind of slice you, dice you, and score. And so they just find a way to win. And yesterday, they easily could have lost that game to Dallas. Dallas had every chance to win that game, but they found a way to win.
Well, Brett, appreciate it as always, my friend. And we'll see what we're talking about next Monday with the Titans as the Will Levis show, I guess, will continue. We'll find out. But appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Have a good one.
You too. Brett Kern joins us every Monday at 9:30, and appreciate him doing that.
What's that? I mean, I've always wanted to ask him that. I'm glad Dale sent me to remind me to do that. But to know when it's time, and I think that's a little easier when you know a guy's like, this guy's good.
Yeah.
And evidently they have a strong friendship, so it's not like, that'd make it. I'd be fighting if somebody did that with me. But
what was funny is, like, I remember going to camp, and they usually always bring in another kicker, another punter. You have a camp leg or whatever.
Sure.
And it's just like, okay, whatever. This isn't a competition. And Brett walked over to say hi, and I was like, how's it going? And he goes, you need to watch this kid. I was like, really? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like watch him, and he goes, yeah, like, I might be in trouble. Like,
wow.
He knew. So, I mean, they obviously had to find where that transition was going to be at some point, but I think it came sooner than anybody thought they would. But they obviously have a good one.
Yeah, Kern, one of the only – is he the only player? No, him and Derek Morgan, the only player to play for every Titans in Nashville head coach.
Probably, yeah.
Because Morgan got drafted in 10, so he played Fisher, Munchak, Wisnut, Malarkey.
Did McCourty?
No, he left after 16. He did not play for Vrabel.
Okay.
He left after the 16 season.
Yeah.
Came close.
So you might be right. Yeah, it might be Brett and Derek Morgan.
Yeah, I think that's it, who played for every coach in the
because he got a couple of years with Fisher in 09, because he came in 09.
Right.
So he got a couple of years with Fisher.
Munchak, 11 to 13.
And then
the
one we don't mention.
Awful Wisnut. And then I was listening to, you got to go to the break there.
Vrabel.
But again, early, the Mike Malarkey thing about this, talking about Vrabel going, he inherited a football team that was really good. And I just think Mike Malarkey does not get enough credit for this franchise. It really bugs me.
He doesn't. Speaking of Mike Vrabel, there was a report that came out on Friday that we certainly have to address, that I am curious about when it comes to Vrabel and the future of the Titans. We'll do that next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Go big or go home. Unless you're part of Smashville. Because here, going big means you are home. Big hits. Big names. Big history. Big energy. Welcome to Smashville.
Preds fans, join us as we take on the Arizona Coyotes this Saturday, November 11th at Bridgestone Arena. Secure your tickets today at NashvillePredators.com.
Fast-paced health provides easy access to quality care close to home. The streets you live on are the streets we live on. We're part of the baseball games and Main Street parades. Your community is our community, and it's our mission to provide you with quick, convenient, and affordable health care. We're here for the injuries and illnesses, the preventative treatments, the chronic conditions, and so much more. Fast-paced health.
2 new locations, Antioch and Mount Juliet.
Black Tap Craft Burgers and Beer is now open in downtown Nashville. Black Tap features award-winning craft burgers, wings, salads, and the Instagram-famous Crazy Shake milkshakes. Check out Black Tap's incredible game day promotions during NFL and college football game days and enjoy your choice of wings or the All-American Burger, plus a pint of beer for just $15. And all month long, you can grab the November specials at Black Tap with their fried turkey and brie sandwich that pairs perfectly with a sweet potato pie classic shake. Check out Black Tap downtown for their unmatched vibe, burgers, crazy shakes, and beer.
Get ready to elevate your game day experience. Titans fans, it's all happening at Mimo Bar on Titans Terrace. Just a short walk from the bridge at First and Demumbrian. They've got your epic pregame and postgame covered. With their Italian classics and sensational cocktails, your senses will be on a joyride. And hey, listen to this. Everyone at the Titans Terrace gets a chance to bag a Gibson Guitars merch bundle, a $100 Mimo postgame gift card, or a weekend brunch for 2. So why wait? Mimo Bar, where Nashville's heritage meets Italian flavor.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like CertainTeed Landmark Pro, right at my fingertips. And now through November, purchase CertainTeed with Beacon Pro Plus, web or app, and earn up to $750. Beacon, always building.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Every day we are live and local.
It will help them get better players. I'm really excited about this defensive front.
And your source for Nashville sports.
They had missed the playoffs. Those players may end up being practice squad guys.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the Chase and Big Joe Show, brought to you by Regal Realty Group.
We are spying on you pretty much around the clock.
But why, Mr. McGuire?
Do you want to know the terrifying truth? Or do you want to see me suck a few dingers?
Dingers! On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.